What is good, everybody? Welcome to another Chill podcast today here. Episode 4. As you know, as I've done every year, we are celebrating women today. And today is a special one for y'all because, ladies and gentlemen, I bring to y'all, this is our first guest from outside of the U.S. The mother, the gaming mother that plays a lot of Apex. Y'all know her from the pond. Y'all show your love. And welcome, TwistedHumanoid, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the lovely introduction.
No problem. You want to go ahead and introduce the world to TwistedHumanoid?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually a variety streamer from the UK. My name is TwistedHumanoid. I can be seen streaming, as you say, a lot of Apex. I do love Apex. I dabbled in a bit of DBD. Love a lot of like retro games as well and adventure games. So yeah, I've been streaming now for nearly 3 years in August. So.
All right. So we've been streaming around the same time. All right. You mentioned retro games earlier. Like, what are some of your favorite retro games?
Well, I guess it's all like your kind of traditional, your Marios, your Sonics, your Alex the Kids, those kind of like.
Alex the Kid.
Oh
man.
My God. Well, Alex the Kid. Can't go wrong. Love a built-in game like that. Hey.
No. Oh man. I thought I was the only person who knew about Alex Kid. Is it Alex Kid? Alex the Kid? Oh, okay. It might be different. It might be different depending on the localization, but.
So
yes.
we also with the ours is we call it the Sega Mega Drive, and you guys call it something different.
Sega Genesis. Yep.
Genesis. That's it. Yeah. So I imagine there are a few random changes, but yeah. No, I used to love those kind of things, and obviously Zelda. Who doesn't love some Zelda? So
yeah. Probably my favorite Zelda would be. Now I didn't get to play the original version of it, but Ocarina of Time on the 3DS. That was probably my all-time favorite Zelda.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom, right? Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch right now. By the way, if you haven't played Tears of the Kingdom, go play it. Anyway, all that aside, you said you've been streaming for about 3 years now. What got you into streaming in the first place?
The child got me into streaming. So as you know, so many people over lockdown were kind of taking to streaming. I didn't really know what streaming was. I really massively. So my life over lockdown was Animal Crossing. I think it was a lot of people's lives. That's how you went out in 2020, wasn't it? That's how you kind of, you went out to see your friends and stuff. And I had this lovely group of ladies. And I think because we were all on Facebook as well, so we were, we'd sit there. Literally, it was like a job. It was 8 hours minimum a day, sat there.
Oh wow!
The Switch, no, seriously, it was always on in the background, and we were all really interactive. We threw parties and stuff for each other. But as a result, I then kind of discovered it on Facebook that people were streaming, and myself and my son were kind of watching some Animal Crossing, then we discovered people streaming Apex, and I think that was where it sparked for him really more than me. It was kind of like, this is really cool. Didn't even occur to me to start streaming, but then he's like, "Mummy, please, I want to stream." He was like 9, I think, at the time, something like that. And obviously with him being so young, he wasn't allowed to stream by himself, so we actually started streaming on Facebook. And yeah, because so I guess there was some people that we used to watch on a regular, so and they were super supportive, and yeah, it was really nice, and so that's how it all began. So yeah, it all began on Facebook of all places.
Hey, that's where it kind of started for me. Wow, I didn't realize how similar we were, because that's kind of how I started too. I think I saw your son in the background.
Would you like to say hello to Tiny Titan? Because I think he's
hovering. Yes. Everybody.
He's much bigger than he used to be now. So.
Hey, Tiny Titan.
Tiny. So you said, say hello. So he can't hear because I've got headphones in, but you can put the other one in. Here you go. There you go. He's the real star. It's not me, really. I swear people come along just to see him because I'm rubbish at Apex. So, you know.
Hello there, my friend. How are you doing?
Hello.
I hear
I'm good.
you're doing good. That's good. I hear you're the big star. I hear, huh? So,
yeah.
Are you really
Yeah, I'm
good
gonna
at?
start streaming later this year.
Oh, following your mother's footsteps. I see. Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. Hey, as long as you listen to your mother, I think you'll do pretty good in streaming.
Maybe. He's got a great setup already because he's got some of my cast-offs. As I've kind of been upgrading, I've been saving them for him. So he's you've got a pretty beastie setup already, haven't you?
Yeah.
for a nearly 13-year-old, so.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, Mr. Titan, I speak for a lot of us when we say we look forward to see you kick ass in Apex or whatever you stream in it and everything. So.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Everybody show your love for Tiny Titan, everybody.
There you go. He loves to get his face into these things. What can I say?
Oh, we have a question. Mezzo Shoji asked, "Hello, I love the lights in the background." I think he meant to say background there, and of the lighting poster and lights. Where do you get those type of things? I can never find them.
So things like the nano leaves I get from Amazon. It's they're pretty standard. Always look out though for the sales. They're always on sale. A good few times a year. I would never buy nano leaves full price. Don't do that. The other stuff, honestly, I think I don't know if you can see it. The cat one I actually got from Temu. Then the other two, the love and the lightning bolt, I just got from AliExpress, I think. So Temu's very good for lights actually, and they're really quite cheap. If you have and they don't, over here in the UK, they don't tend to take too long to come either. So it's like, I don't know, so about 7 to 14 days. AliExpress takes a bit longer, but I don't know what it's like for you guys and elsewhere. But yeah, that's it really. I mean, there's a really big, wide kind of variety as well. So you can get all sorts of like games lights as well. So, themed stuff. I think one of the things that was on my list was a Yoshi one from Mario. So,
as you guys know, we are celebrating women. This month being Women's Month. So, Twisted question I have to ask. There are some. Have you gotten any weird interactions on streams because you're a woman doing streaming and everything?
Oh, all the time. I think streaming in general, whether you're male or female, you get some strange interactions. But yes, I think being female, you do get some people coming in and being, not very, very nice sometimes, or being very presumptuous, and sometimes you do get people coming in and they'll come out with some sexual comments, but my mods are very, very good and very on it. In fact, Mr. Man is one of my mods that you can see in your stream right now. And so generally, because I'm female, because I'm a mum and I stream with my son, I have for me, I have to have really clear boundaries. So, my mods, I kind of put together like a rules list, if you like. So they know kind of what's bannable, what's, and I think it's just setting boundaries as a streamer, regardless of being male or female, is really important, but especially if you are female and especially if you stream, with one of your kids. So,
it's wild that, when people see that, hey, this person is married and has a kid, then all of a sudden they're not your fan anymore. It's like, what? I mean, it goes without saying.
Though. It's not just that, though. Honestly, I mean, I don't blame streamers for keeping, that side of their private lives private. You know, nobody's got the right to know anything. But obviously, I stream with my kid, so people know who my kid is. But the side of like the whole partners thing, yeah. Do you know what? People drop off whenever they find out that you know that you have a partner, whether that's a husband, a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. You know, I think it's sad, and you know. I think, again, it's one of those things that happens both ways, but probably slightly more to women. And the problem that you get sometimes with that is that people can sometimes, when they do discover that, can become quite aggressive in your stream or really change how they talk to you. Oh, you know, I've gifted you all this and blah blah blah. You know, but you've got a husband. It's like, well, what did you come here for? Because like I don't stream today. You know, I'm here to have fun and play games, and you know, but it's not just that. So you know, I had my 40th birthday a couple of years ago. And I posted about my 40th birthday and my thing. And I had such a mass unfollowing on both Twitter and Twitch, all because of my age. And it was really demoralizing for me. So I did kind of put out a post just to say, like, you know, for those people who did, you know, it's not cool. Bizarrely, it kind of blew up a little bit and I ended up gaining way more followers. But you know, that wasn't the intention. The intention was to kind of, you know, raise that whole thing of not just the women in gaming, but the kind of like that older crowd in gaming as well. Because, you know, just because we're a bit older, it doesn't mean that we don't enjoy games, you know. I love it, and I love being able to bond with my son. My husband's also like an avid gamer. He likes a lot of indie games and stuff. My stepson, again, you know, really big gamer. So gaming's huge in our house, and it doesn't, I think traditionally gaming comes with those negative kind of connotations and stuff. But yeah, I don't think that because you're a mom or because you're female or because you're over 40, that should mean that you can't game. I think everybody can game. I think, you know, you've got like the COD grandma and people like that. I think they're amazing, and you know, what more can you say?
You pretty much hit it on the head right there. Also, I think your mod said you don't look 40. Honestly, you really don't. Honestly, if I saw you, I probably think you were like in your late 20s. Honestly,
I will take that any day of the week. I mean, you know, when you're growing up, you have kind of preconceptions as to what a 40-year-old is and what they're going to be like. And, you know, and even right down to like being a mum, like, you know, you kind of think, well, when I become a mum, I'm going to do these things and I'm going to, you know, this is how my life will go. And actually, I've always just been me. And I think I mean, what does a 40-year-old look like? What does a 40-year-old do? Everyone's different. And I think I've always kind of maintained this slightly chaotic energy about myself. It's just who I am. I guess I am kind of like, kind of younger minded in that sense. I do really enjoy things like gaming, which I don't know, maybe some people feel too old for, you know, when they hit a certain number. But I just think you should do what you enjoy. So, sorry, my cat's about to try and... This is Princess. She is a main focus on my stream. But she's trying to steal my tea.
That's a cute kitty right there.
Because being British, obviously, I drink lots of tea.
Hey, I'm right there with you. Mezzo asks, what's the cat's name again?
Princess. So I've got 3 cats. One's called Vader, one's called Princess, and one's called Millie. But this is Princess. She sits here and she joins me for streams.
You mentioned, you know, being in your 40s and everything. I'm not that far. Believe it or not, I'm not that far off from you. I'm 38. I'll be 39 next month. So, you know, me and you our backgrounds are kind of similar. We started streaming, mid 30s and everything. And, you know, there's a lot of like stigma that, you know, you're too old to be starting to start anything and, you know, streaming and everything. You know, streaming is for like the mid 20s and group like that. But yet, despite that, you know, look at us, we're succeeding, you know.
Yeah.
Like I know you're sponsored by I know you have a few sponsorships. I got picked up by Capcom a couple of years ago. What kind of like stands out, you know, to you being other than, you know, your age, that you're still able to do all these things, you know, still be able to be the awesome streamer that you are.
You know, that whole thing, like, you know, you're talking about, you know, when people think that we're too old to be streamers. I mean, how old should you be a streamer? Like, at the end of the day, I think different people have different interests, and they will be different ages for the type of interest that they have anyway. I think it's because gaming is considered, you know, a young person thing to do. People forget that actually the whole gaming thing started when we were young. Like, all the first consoles are when I was a kid. So
Right,
actually, we are the original gamers in a sense, right? So if anyone's got, I mean, I don't think anyone's got a right to stream, but you know what I mean. If anyone's,
Right.
you know,
I got you.
you know, why not? You know, I think, and streaming, it's not just gaming, right? So people can do all sorts of things. You got, you know, your real life streams. You got the crafting stream. I mean, I love a crafting stream, I'm not gonna lie. But you know, there are so many ways to express your passion, and I love the live aspect of it. So, you know, I'm kind of delving more into the kind of YouTube side of things these days, but in all honesty, I have been, you know, always really nervous to be in front of a camera. So one of the things that streaming has done for me is given me that confidence to actually sit in front of a camera. Like, the difference in me now streaming in comparison to when I first started is like worlds apart. I felt very rigid, very kind of like I have to be a certain way. But, you know, I think when it comes to streaming, being yourself is like not that I wasn't myself, it's just that I felt uncomfortable. Like, I felt so uncomfortable.
Yeah. You know.
And but yeah, I think I soon realized that whenever I set up my Twisted Humanoid Twitch, you know, I was really enjoying it. I was starting to build you know, such a lovely community, and meet new people from all around the world. You know, it felt like a very wholesome place at the time. So, you know, yeah.
Well said. I know you mentioned that you're like a cozy, chaotic kind of streamer. How'd you come up with the name Twisted Humanoid, if you don't mind me asking?
Do you know what? So it is as simple as it was my Xbox name. So I'm terrible. I can never pick anything because I'm always you know the way with Xbox it will like pair lots of different like names and stuff, and it was, you know, it gives you lots of options. Well, I took one option from one and one option from the other, and I created Twisted Humanoid. It wasn't actually one that was given to me, but I kind of created it from the list of names that I was kind of presented with. And you know what? I kind of liked it, and I don't know. It's stuck. You know, it's unique. Nobody else is out there calling themselves Twisted Humanoid, so yeah, why not? Yeah, it was.
Hey.
I thought I'd give it a go. But the thing is, when I started streaming, I never expected to ever take it seriously. When I first started streaming, it was just one of those things where I was like, I'll give this a go. So using using my Xbox name just seemed, you know, like a reasonably okay thing to do, you know. But yeah, that's where Twisted Humanoid came from. And the more and more I kind of streamed and kind of grew, so many people commented on it, and it is just a unique name. And I don't know, you know, I have considered rebranding at times because I did have a different nickname whenever I did my tech stuff. But it's I don't know, it's kind of stuck and it's catchy for me. So
I like the name. I like it. It fits your streamer personality. So
yeah, well, this is it. Like, crazy and chaotic, you know, Twisted Humanoid. Why not?
Of course, exactly.
And the funny thing is, you know, I was saying about how I was really uncomfortable on screen. initially. That whole kind of humanoid side, it almost feels like that's what I was, welcome to the news at 10. Do you know what I mean? It was a little bit like that back in the day.
Yeah. She does get chaotic on Apex. Yep, I've seen it. I have seen that. Also, he says, coming from someone that hits 30 this year, I know some of my generation would say you're too old to game, blah, 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 but know that I'll be in the same boat for the next upcoming group of gamers that would say the same, and I expect the older gen because they have gamed through much harder times. So like if you struggle on the game, you have to go to the store to buy the game guide. Man, yeah, the internet wasn't even a thing back in our day. We had to, it was either, we had to ask a friend, hey, have you played this game? Do you know how to get past this part? It was either that or you're screwed. Pretty much. Do
you remember, have you seen the YouTubes of kind of the younger generation playing some of our games? Because when you died, you died.
You died, right?
That was it. You died. You were done. Like you had to go back to the start. So it didn't matter. So when I was younger, I used to play, one of my favorite games was the Addams Family on the Super Nintendo. And I played this religiously. Day in, day out. Oh my God. Like do you know what, to this day, I am so gutted. But a number of times I got to the final boss and the final level before you kind of complete the game. And I've never got past that last bit. It was ice. There was ice and spikes and all these. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
and
man.
Just having like loads of lives as well and being this close, but never quite making it. And I think we live in a generation now, like where I think everyone kind of just, oh, well, you can just continue. You can just continue from your save spot. Yeah, we couldn't do that. We had to get good, So, yeah, it was quite an experience to game back in the day.
I felt the same way about Donkey Kong Country 2.
Yeah.
I don't know man, I could never. There was this one level. It was like towards the end. So like if you want to 102% the game, you have to find like all those bonus levels, get all those coins and all that. There was one level where I could never find it. I was like, okay, I thought I found everything I needed to find here, but the game says nope, you're missing that one. And I'm like, okay, how do I get to it? So one day, out of frustration, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna fall off and die. But I ended up going through a wall. There was like some kind of, on some part there's like a wall you could like go through. I landed on a fake wall, went through that, and found it. And I'm like, this is all I had to. That was it. How would any regular person see that? And also ice physics in video games back then. Yeah.
Oh, they were a nightmare. They were, honestly, it's. I've just seen that in the chat that Mezzo was saying that they find Twisted Humanoid a really fun thing to say. I have to say, so it does on a regular basis get misread sometimes as twisted hemorrhoids. So yeah, sorry, it just reminded me of that. Yeah. So yeah, it's I know, right? So but yeah. Sorry, way to go to bring it down. But yeah, that's the only problem with the name is that, as a streamer, as you're looking through chat and sometimes you try to really hard to kind of, to read people's names and you just get, I don't know about you, but I really struggle sometimes. I can read, but under pressure, I come out with some fantastic alternatives to some people's names.
Oh, that just brought back some memories. All right.
Anyway, where were we?
Yeah, we're back to the podcast.
Yeah.
So
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong, yeah. So yes, I remember finally finding that bonus level and being able to finally finish the game, only to find out that there was a hidden area. Another set of levels I had to do. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
No,
I thought I was done with the game, and there's more to it. And to find out that these levels are even harder than that, I was like, yeah. Okay.
Well, these days, if people get stuck, they just Google it, right? You just Google it.
Just Google
You know,
it.
if we got stuck, it was only really the big games that you could go and get guides for. It wasn't every game. It was only the big games where you could, you know, go and get a guide and, you know, from the local game shop if they had them.
Dollars. Yeah. Yep. So, did you ever play the third Sonic game? Sonic 3?
Yeah, I think I did. They all blur into one in the end, but yeah.
Right. So, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a carnival themed level. And there was a part called the barrel, which I'm sure a lot of you guys should probably know. I remember, did you ever figure that part out on your own, or did you have to get a lot of help for it?
I think the later Sonics, I just generally struggled with, to be perfectly honest. I think the original Sonic will always be my favorite. But yeah, because even like Sonic 2, and I enjoyed Sonic 2, but like, yeah, they advanced very quickly. Let's just put it that way, you know?
They did. They did. I remember getting stuck on that barrel, and those in the chat will probably know what I'm talking about here, for months. And then, someone told me that, and then while I was messing with the controller, I was like messing around with the controller while getting stuck out of frustration. And then I saw that the barrel, you can move the barrel down by going up, down, up, down. I'm like, was this all I had to do? There was no way the game didn't even hint at that. How was I supposed to know, you know? All right, J6 says he has a question. I find that people will drop you and others will try to draw you into their drama as a streamer. All right, I know. So 2 parts. How do you deal with the drama of it all? This is a good question. How do you deal with the drama, and how do you handle the mental and emotional strain of losing your community for the smallest reasons? That's a very good question, actually.
Yeah, I mean, as you grow, you do end up. I find, as much as I love the content creation space, there is a lot of drama. It can become a little bit toxic at times. In all honesty, I think so long as you always keep your own integrity and you're honest, I don't really, you know, I will always stand by the things that I say. Anything that I say to one person, I will always say to somebody else. Do you know what I mean? If I'm not somebody who tends to kind of, you know, necessarily talk behind people's backs and so I am known for being quite a straight shooter, and sometimes people don't like that. So I think you should always, you know, lead with your own integrity, really. And, you know, it is really difficult when, you know, people do drop off. I have had a couple of instances which really, really broke me. The very first one that happened actually quite early in my streaming career, I guess, was I had this really close knit bunch of people, but then somebody was brought in from outside and into this kind of small knit bunch of people, and they literally so they were all my mods and, you know, like admins and stuff, and one night they all just walked out of my Discord server. And it sounds so silly because, you know, I'm this grown woman, and, you know, but I really built a relationship with these people. I really felt like they were my really good friends. And, you know, on a positive, I have mended with pretty much all of them. I don't really tend to hold grudges. If people are happy to kind of take out the time to come and talk to you and talk it out, I'm always happy to listen. I think life is far too short to have, you know, bad feelings for people, even if they've treated me really badly. I think when it comes to me, once somebody has kind of done me dirty, it's not that I won't kind of accept their apology, because, you know, I'm happy to accept an apology, but I might keep somebody at arm's length, you know. Trust is huge to me, you see. So yeah, so that's, for me, it's just like staying true to yourself and just be as honest. And, you know, and you know what, when you do, and I'm not going to say that I've always been perfect. I have maybe said stuff which I didn't realize would offend people and whatever. Own it. Always own it. Own your shit. Like, sorry, I don't know whether you
No,
swearing,
no.
But like literally own
swearing,
it. And
swearing is perfect here. Swearing's allowed.
Okay, that's fine. But like, it's what I teach my kids. You know, it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay. What's not okay is not owning it. Like, if you make a mistake, own it. Put your hands up. I'm sorry. If you can fix it, fix it. Like, it's that's the best thing. And you know, you can't make people like you. You can't make people, you know, if people will always make up their minds. And I think as a streamer, you just got to respect it. You can't, you know, actually I find that the more people try to change your mind, the more sometimes you kind of go, yeah, I'm good. Like, but then how do you handle the mental and emotional strain? It is hard. I'm not gonna lie. It is hard, but sometimes you just got to rebuild. Go back to basics. The things that you know you really enjoy. I've mixed things up on my stream a few times because, you know, you will lose community if you change games. It's just naturally what people, you know, if people are used to coming to see DVD, and all of a sudden I'm playing Apex, they're two very different games. And I know that, like, I get that. The two games that I play are like miles apart. But, you know, I think it depends on why people watch you. You know, I know people who have been Twitch partners, you know, based off a specific game. And then, you know, and this happens with a lot of Twitch partners, you know, they then try to veer off to maybe play other games. And, you know, but people are like, no, but I come here for this. And it's like, you know, you got to do what makes you happy. I don't, you know, at the end of the day, I think people's viewers, they're not silly. And if you're not happy in your streaming, they can see right through you. And that was one thing that I really learned, especially when I got made redundant, and actually streaming kind of became my sole income from my perspective. And that was really hard because all of a sudden you feel so much more pressure. You might have more time to stream, but you're not happy streaming. You know, it's that kind of thing, and it can be really hard. But I think just, you know, for me, I always just try to do my best. And if you are not feeling up to streaming, I've just learned, just don't stream. I mean, people will notice that I haven't been streaming as much recently, but that's because I've got a lot going on, like personally, and, you know, I've been very busy in my job. So I could stream on a regular, but then I'll burn myself out, and I would rather not burn myself out, you know. So you've got to make the right choices for you and your health and your kind of mental well-being.
I could not say that any better.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough because I think
hard.
As well,
it really is.
With streaming, I think it's almost like it's creating a new world, isn't it? Like you start creating. I don't know. Everyone is so different, and my husband's always said to me, even in the real life world, he's always just like, you know, because I do tend to kind of bend over backwards for my friends, and I'm always there for people as much as I can be. And so when I need that help and support and it's not there, sometimes it can really, it's like a dagger a little bit. It's like, but I was there for all these people and not one of them's like, you know. And I think you have to remember, when it comes to online worlds, you can have really close friends, and it's not necessarily that they don't value that, but everybody's really different. And I think it's sometimes important to remember that people life, you know, at the end of the day, they've got their own kind of issues. And when I think something is online, it's very, very disposable because it's not in your face. I think, you know, I think that is the problem. And that's one thing that I have sometimes had to overcome. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, you know, more recently when things have been a bit more tough, I have kind of thought to myself, well, where is everyone? Like, when things are great, everyone is around. But, you know, when the going gets tough and you need to maybe take a week off and stuff, that's when it would probably gets to me more than normal. But yeah, that's me just being super honest.
Hey, and honest, and being
we're all
honest goes a
human.
very long way. Yeah, we're all that's why you call Twisted Humanoid, because you're human, I'm human, like all of us, even though we're entertainers, we're human. We are all human.
Yeah.
Athos,
And I just
Les,
think-
welcome. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. And I just think that in the content world, it's such a huge place, really, and sometimes it doesn't feel like a very big space when a lot of people are kind of interacting with different groups, and when there are fallouts, it can be really, really a very difficult place to be. But this is where I think you've just got to keep your own integrity and. I don't know how to put it. I can see what I mean. Do you know what I mean? Like it's that kind of...
just be, you kind of have to stand firm on your beliefs.
Don't do the he said, she said stuff. Like it doesn't get anybody anywhere. And I think, I think as streamers, we have to remember that everyone's going to have a different circle of friends. And it's exactly the same in real life as well. People have different circles of friends. It doesn't mean that they're not loyal. It doesn't mean that, it just means that they... that they have a different friend group as well, but they vibe differently. Yeah. And this is the thing, and I think online worlds become very, very intense, so sometimes you do just need to step back and take time.
Exactly. You mentioned you say you don't stream as much because of life and everything. How do you balance being a mom, being a streamer and doing all that? How do you balance all that?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I just do. I love being busy. I always have done. My mind works at a million miles per hour anyway. So actually, I do ask myself this question all the time because I'm all over the place. Like I'm the only person that drives in my household, and we live in the middle of nowhere, for example. It's that kind of like when we need milk, I have to jump in my car and go grab it. But also kind of dealing with the kind of tiny schedule as well, because he is a busy boy. There is a lot to juggle. My mum is in hospital at the moment, and this is another thing. It is it's not always your prime dependents. Sometimes it's people like parents and stuff when you get older that you need to be there and support. I think it's really hard. I don't know how I do it. I think I just keep going, because sometimes I think if I stop I might not get back up again, so it's just when you do have a chance to get downtime, I guess I do. On a Saturday I don't have to get out of bed. I don't have a young child. It's not a problem, so I will take that time to like chill and relax and watch streams on my phone or play my silly mobile game that my son's got me into called Legend of Mushroom. That kind of stuff. Honestly, I don't want to go there. Like seriously, he got me onto this on like last Saturday morning, and the number of hours that I have put into that game is actually, it's criminal. The great thing is I haven't, so I bought 2 99p packs of something, but actually no money needs to be spent, and that's the great part of it, is just and they have their own little community as well. So I've been sucked in. I easily get sucked into community because back when like community management was just a new thing because of the internet, that's the job that I kind of went into, and I've always been really passionate about bringing people together and communities. So yeah, when I find something that has that ability to do that, I tend to gravitate towards that because it's a real passion of mine. So I think that's why this mobile game has really sucked me in.
I feel like you're doing a really good job being Humanoid and everything. And I think a lot of people I think I could probably speak for people on the chat that say that we really appreciate you for being you. And for being, for being vulnerable and honest with us. So, and I, for one, really appreciate that we've met. And more outside of this podcast, I appreciate that I got to be such an awesome individual like yourself. So I'm indeed grateful. So thank you.
Yeah, well, it's been lovely to meet you, and it's been lovely. Like, we've always had such great interactions, and I think this is the real beauty. This is where like streaming and gaming really kind of comes into its own, and I think that's where the toxicity side is really sad, because you know, in a lot of cases, you know, I do think that the more bitter side to Twitch boils down to like jealousy in a lot of cases, and I just think, you know what, do things for you, you know. Be your own, like, how can I put it? Be your own marker. Like, set your goals. You don't have to be a, you know, a ninja or a Pokemon or one of those. Set your own goals. Everyone's different. Be unique. Find a thing that really sparks you. You know, and I guess. Actually, when I look at, you know, when I talk about myself, you know, I am an older gamer. I am a mum, you know, I've always been very big into my tech. So I always push those sides of things, because that's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about my family. And, you know, actually I'm passionate about raising the profile of older gamers, because actually I think, you know, at times we are very overlooked. And I think, you know, it's find your niche and just kind of, you know, be yourself, really. So
well said. We have a question from I have a question from Athos, but before I do that, your mom says he's a bad influence on you.
Oh dear. Mr. Man is, I think Mr. Man is the one person who's broken me on stream more than anybody, to be perfectly honest. So I love you, Mr. Man, but dude, you've broken me multiple times on stream. I
could say that. I could probably say that for a couple of my mods too. Hey,
sorry, my cat's attacking me. She's trying to go for my tea, and I'm not letting her. No.
Princess wants to steal the spotlight here.
Yeah, she does.
Anyway. All right, so Athos has a question. He says, if or when you watch other streamers, what stands out, or what do you look for in other channels that you enjoy?
What stands out? I love a bit of personality, a bit of character, somebody who is really engaging. I love that kind of, you know, that real kind of bubbly personality type things. I mean, I've been so busy, I've not been able to watch as many people, but people who are really kind of interactive with chat is always really lovely. I think that's important. You know, I think looking through your chat, acknowledging people. It's really funny, because when Ninja came out with his masterclass, I actually had a masterclass membership at the time, and I remember looking through the course, and like one of the first things he teaches you on there is that, you know, like, interact with your chat, make sure. He doesn't bother. And you go into this, admittedly the chat goes a million miles per hour, so you know it must be almost impossible, but you know that, but he's not, you know, he's not wrong. It is that kind of like interaction, somebody like that can kind of really pull you in. I'm not gonna lie, you know, when I watch Apex streamers, it is always nice to see people who are, you know, cracked. You know, for me it's mostly personality, it's engagement. Because just think about it, you've got people that will sit down and watch you for however long. You know, I love the community aspect as well. So, you know, I play a lot of community games on my stream. So we'll play kind of like, I'll play DBD or Apex with my community. Mr. Man has been in my DBD squads many times, and more recently kind of doing the Apex stuff. So just general interaction. Just be interesting.
I would say that's probably the number one thing there when it comes to content creating is, you know, interact with your chat, and, you know, let your personality show pretty much.
I love a bit of hype as well. I love a bit of hype. One of my favorite, I went into oh gosh, what's his name? There is one, oh gosh, I've forgotten. There's two of them and I can't remember either of them. One of them is like something parrot something, and you'd go in and he was like really hype, and he'd like have his decks, and like he'd be like, oh, you know, it's a raid from blah blah blah, and then he'll do like remixes of your name and bits and bobs on his on his, like, I don't know, his GoXLR or whatever it is that he uses. And I love a bit of excitement. So
ain't nothing wrong with a good bit of hype.
I can't remember.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But this is it. But I love it when people make a real kind of song and a dance when something like a raid happens. Like, it's exciting, and it does make you want to stay. Like, it does make you want to, oh, this person seems like really fun. Obviously for some people that'll be like very OTT, but it I don't know, it just kind of appeals to my kind of sense of entertainment, if you like.
I always ask all my guests this: if there's one piece of advice that you would give to someone who wants to get into streaming or even content creating as a whole, what would you tell them?
Have fun, play the games that you want to play, start small and build up, because you don't know long term, you know, how it's going to go. I think a lot of people will be like, oh, well, I want to be like that streamer that's got like all of those lights and that really groovy mic and all of that. And then, you know, until you've kind of given it a shot, it could be a real waste of money. So, but just have fun with it. Play the games that you want to play. I think you can always tell when a streamer's playing a game they don't want to play. And it's very easy as a streamer to fall into that trap of playing games that everyone else is playing. And I have done. And you can see the games that I like and I don't like. It's very clear. And as much as I hate the fact that I am rubbish at Apex, I love the game. It's you know, it's a lot of fun for me, and just have fun with it. I think try not to lose yourself whilst getting into it, because I think people really hyper focus on numbers. The numbers will come. You just need to kind of focus on what you enjoy, what you love, and invite your community in to kind of, you know, enjoy that with you, with, you know, on, you know, community games on stream and that kind of stuff. So there were loads of things there. Sorry, like, what's the one thing?
No. Take your time. Take your time. Best of great
but
advice,
there is so
everybody.
much, though. There is so much from advice that I think, you know, over the last 3 years of doing it and kind of making those mistakes. And I have made those mistakes. I have got on stream and, you know, changed my game, and there's 3 people in stream, and I've gone from, you know, like an average of like 20 to, you know, and you've got 3 people in chat, and it's so easy to kind of sit there and be like, oh, you know, and I think it's natural. I think, you know, especially if you have started to grow as well. But at the end of the day, it's all about experimenting anyway to see what's going to work for you and your community. But yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things I'd say is, you know, never do something that you don't feel comfortable doing just because you think it's going to bring in viewers. I think, you know, staying kind of as authentic to your true self is probably the best thing that I could say.
Well said. You guys heard it. You guys heard it from Twisted Humanoid, everybody. All right. Oh, did you want to say something?
I was going to say, well, what you see is what you get with me, so...
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing, but...
Now we are at the point where the roles are now switched. So at this point, I'm going to throw it over to you. The floor is yours.
I love asking people this question in general, but what kind of gaming franchise has really had the biggest kind of effect on you, and why, basically?
Ooh, you're actually the first person to ever ask me that. Are we talking about streaming or just like as like IRL as a whole? Or like,
I guess just let's go with the gaming side of things. We can add the streaming bit in afterwards. I always love to know what inspired people, like what really kind of got them going for gaming.
So for me, I mean, this is probably the answer like people my age, everybody says, but the franchise that, like, you know, inspired me the most and what also got me into gaming, of course, is the Mario franchise. Started with the NES, as most people know. Started with the Mario Duck Hunt, of course, and ever since then, you know, I've played pretty much everything Mario. I've had you know, I own all the Nintendo consoles and everything, and I think just like the Mario franchise as a whole has kind of like inspired me as a gamer to like to get into gaming as a whole. So that would be like probably one of my, I would say, my top 3 franchises of all time.
Yeah.
The others being the Persona franchise, which actually is the reason I got into it's actually the game I started streaming when I first started streaming.
Yeah, fantastic.
And also it's what really got me to JRPGs. And the third being Street Fighter, because I like to play a lot of fighting games, and I remember playing in the old games. I would always play Ryu, or I would do the Hadouken all the time and everything. So
my little Ken.
Oh, the little Ken. I love it.
Yeah, I was gifted that by the guys from Capcom here in the UK, and yeah, he sits here. So Street Fighter is one of those for me. Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat were kind of 2 franchises that kind of. I loved fighting games whenever I was younger, but I think the thing that lit me up probably the most, that I just got so sucked into like it was my life, was Shenmue. Which if you're into like your Persona and stuff, yeah. I mean, that was the reason why I bought my Dreamcast. I literally bought my Dreamcast for 2 games. Can you guess the second one? It's very different to Shenmue. There was one other game.
I would say Sonic Adventure, but I don't think that's it.
Nah, Crazy Taxi. Yeah.
How could I forget about that game? How could I forget about that?
With Offspring as the soundtrack. Oh my gosh.
Man,
I love
soundtrack.
Crazy Taxi. So I've heard rumors that they might be kind of redoing Crazy Taxi. So, oh my God, if they do, I'm all over it. I've streamed Crazy Taxi before. Love it. I'm currently playing Shenmue 3 at the moment on my Steam Deck, so.
Ooh. Okay. I regrettably, and gotta say, I've not played any of the Shenmue games, but I would definitely check them out. I think I would, yeah. I think I would
They
definitely
are
love
old
those
though
games.
now. 1 and 2 are old. You can get it for PC, but the controls are a little bit, But
Finicky.
Shenmue 3 is been really lovely to play so far. It was, it's been well done.
And with that, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of my podcast. The podcast will be back next Friday, actually, and I will have. Speaking of fighting games, TwistedHumanoid is gonna like this one. I will have fellow Capcom creator and Street Fighter 6 creator, Miss Patricia, in next Friday. We're gonna be talking about women in the FGC. We're talking about not just the characters, but the people who play the fighting games as well. So that's going to be a very interesting episode, and that will close out our annual Women's Month celebration for this podcast. But with that said, Humanoid, you have been a wonderful guest and everything. Thank you for taking the time to be here and share your experiences and thoughts with everybody. Let's give her a round of applause, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me to be on your podcast, and and for being the first UK person on your podcast. So very excited about that. So yeah, definitely do more UK for sure.
I most definitely will. Thank you. With that said, y'all stay icy, my friends, and have a good weekend.
Thank you.